If you've got long acrylic nails and you need to know how to maintain them, shorten them, Steph's gonna show you exactly how to do that right now.
So during these times, while many of us are stuck at home and can't get to the salon, we thought it would be helpful to show you guys a way to either maintain or remove your acrylic enhancements. Let's get into the video. Myself, like many of you, I'm sure, hasn't had my nails done in a couple of weeks. So I'm starting to get some cracks here and there, definitely outgrown, starting to get a little longer than I'm comfortable with. So for the first nail, what I'm going to show you is just some proper ways to file if you would like to maintain the shape that you have, maybe just shorten them up a little bit and try to get by until you can see your tech. So I'm just going to take a regular hand file. This is a 150 grit file. I've already seasoned the sides. You want to make sure you season the edges. That's just you're going to run another file along the edges of your hand file. That's going to dull down those edges so you're not going to cut yourself. So you want to make sure you get it nice and seasoned before you start. And you want to make sure that you have a decent grip on your file so you're not wobbling around. Remember, we're trying to maintain the shape that I already have here. So we're just going to go ahead and hit those sides, start to shorten it up a little bit while still following the same shape that I had already had. Make sure you come in from underneath, kind of clean that edge up a little bit. And you see how I'm keeping my file nice and straight on each side. I have a firm grip, so I'm able to kind of shorten these up a little bit, but also keep the same kind of look that I had. All right, so now I'm just gonna kind of soften that edge up a little bit and then go ahead and just run my file over the whole nail, blending everything in, really trying to focus back here where all my outgrowth is. That way I'm gonna have a nice smooth seam back here, and I'm gonna be able to buff this into a shape and then just apply some regular polished top coat until I can get back into the salon. I'm actually gonna go ahead and take a buffer. This is a 180 grit buffer, and smooth this out a little bit since I am gonna just apply a regular nail polish top coat and not a gel polish. You wanna make sure it's smooth, but it still has a little bit of texture to it. Okay. I'm gonna dust this off with a clean manicure brush, and it looks pretty decent to me. Still has a all right shape. I have enough structure back here to probably get by. I'm gonna grab just a basic regular nail polish top coat. This is Caption, and make sure I get that cuticle area so I get a nice kind of smooth transition line there, and it won't look quite as grown out for the next couple weeks. And of course you could add color if you wanted to. This is just something that, like I said, can get you by until you can get into the salon. So for the next nail, if you are just going crazy, your nails are way too long, they're grown out, you're like me and you've got some cracks happening right here along the stress point, I just need to get rid of them. What I'm gonna have you do is take a pair of straight edge toenail clippers, and right here, right about your free edge where your natural nail is starting to grow out, you're gonna go ahead and just clip that right there. You'll see it breaks almost straight across. You can come from the other side and finish that up. And now you have that whole free edge taken off. So now you can grab your hand file again. We have the seasoned hand file, so the sides are nice and smooth. And I'm just gonna shorten this up. Try to go with more of like a natural length. This way I still have some of the acrylic on the nail bed, so it's gonna give me a little bit of strength, but now I don't have to worry about them being all long and possibly breaking. Like I said, if it's cracked, you're gonna run the risk of it breaking and causing pain. So if you just wanna get rid of it and smooth it out, give yourself a little bit of a natural kind of a manicure for the next couple weeks so you can see your tech, this is how I would recommend doing it. The clipper technique is going to save you a lot of time rather than sitting here trying to file that entire nail down. You'll have about half as much to work with. So now this would be something that I would want to wear just because, again, I have the acrylic on the nail bed, so it's going to give me some strength. I'm not going to feel sensitive at all, like I've removed the whole nail and it's just my natural nail when I'm used to wearing enhancements. This is just gonna be like a very, very short kind of acrylic set. All right, so now that I have most of that acrylic off, I can now proceed with giving myself a regular manicure, you know, push back the cuticles, clean up any of this kind of lift or outgrowth that I have right here, and go in with a regular polish and nail polish top coat and call it a day. So for the third removal technique, we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing we did with the clippers. I'm gonna take and clip right across the free edge. Same thing on the other side. But for this, we're going to soak this one off. So I'm gonna, again, start off with my hand file, about a 150 grit. What this is gonna do is break any kind of a seal. Most likely you had a gel polish, top coat, or color. So you wanna make sure that you're gonna break the seal of that gel before you try to soak the product off. Also, if you can file down some of the product, this is gonna make the process go a lot faster, so the acetone doesn't have to work through all of that acrylic. So as much as you can file down is ideal. All right, we're getting pretty close to the natural nail here. So now what I'm gonna do is grab some acetone. This is On to the Next polish remover, primarily acetone. A couple nail wipes, cotton balls, whatever you may have at home is we're gonna work great, and a small piece of tin foil. So you wanna make sure that you saturate that nail wipe, cotton ball, little piece of paper towel, whatever you have. And we're gonna roll that up and place that as much on the enhancement as we can. And you're gonna go ahead and take this tin foil and wrap that enhancement. Make sure you keep it nice and tight so all the solution stays on the enhancement. And then we're just gonna let that set for about 15 minutes. And then we'll come back and check it and just be able to push some of the acrylic off. And if we need to, then we can file a bit more and repeat the process as necessary. All right, so after about 15 minutes or so, I'm gonna go ahead and slide that off. And what I have here is a metal pusher, orange wood stick, your other nail, any of that would work as well. What we're gonna do is just kind of start pushing some of that off. This looks like it hasn't really melted off too much yet, but we're getting a little bit. So you can see it kind of just starts to soften the acrylic, and you're able to push most of the product off. And then now what you can do is take your hand file again and just kind of start rolling some of that product off. This is why it's really important to make sure you're breaking that seal in the first place. So we're not trying to soak off gel, because gel's not gonna soak off. So I can see I'm starting to get through some of that color a little bit now. I'm gonna go ahead and put the acetone and a cotton ball back on for a few more minutes, and then we'll come back and try to get a little bit more off. All right, so it's been about another 10 minutes or so. We're gonna slip that off and just go ahead and again, just kind of start pushing some of that softened acrylic off. Also, the acetone reacts to heat. So if you wanted to, that's what the tinfoil kind of does, is it helps kind of heat the acetone up. So it's gonna work its magic a little faster. I know sometimes people will soak their hands in a bowl of acetone. I'm not really a fan of soaking, so I don't typically do that. But you know, drastic times call for drastic measures. So while we're at home, if this is what we got, then this is what we got. So I've got most of the color off, very little acrylic left on the nail. So I'm just gonna go ahead and grab my hand file from before, smooth all this out, get rid of all of that glitter that I have left over. And now we're down to very close to just natural nail. So from here, I would definitely recommend putting some polish on top of it. As it starts to grow out, you might have a little acrylic peeling here and there. So just keep your hand file handy so you can take care of it. You don't want to snag anything while we're, you know, waiting to get back in to see our techs. So you want to make sure that you keep the surfaces smooth and most likely a little shorter than you would usually, just to keep everything intact while we're getting through this. Okay, So again, grab my 180 buffer, smooth out that surface. And now we have pretty much nothing, just a very thin layer of acrylic left on there. You can go ahead and polish these or top coat them, nail strengthener, whatever you happen to have. So I hope some of these tips help you guys maintain while we're all ordered to stay at home, and can get you through until you can get back in to see your tech.